Two of the best teams in America, a young Duke program that has made headlines everywhere against the back-to-back-to-back national champions, coming off a blowout win earlier today right here in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. It's game 2 of the PVCC, the Blue Devils and the Sooners, one of the best matchups, and it's just the second game of this tournament. Happy to have you along for the ride. Corey Brooks, Nicole Mendez with you. Nicole, this is everything you want in a pre-conference matchup. OU, with all the momentum in the world, the prohibitive favorites to win another national championship against a Duke team in the top 10, looking to make even more headlines. It was a really young team last year that could be simply sensational here in 2024.
Absolutely. I mean, this is the matchup that this is how you want to open up your season with a bang. If you're Duke and you want to make an impact, you want to make a scene, this is a team that you got to play. In Oklahoma, they're reigning champs. They're ranked #1, but that was last year. This is this year. It's a whole new season. It's a whole clean slate, clear playing field. So it's time for both of them to get after it.
All the preseason conversations are done, and there were no more conversations about any individual player than the pitcher you see in the circle right now. Kelly Maxwell begins her OU career with a base knock for Deanna Jennings. That's not how you drew it up for one of the best pitchers in America. One pitch, one on for the Blue Devils.
Hey, efficient right there. You see it, you like it. This field's looking a little bouncy. That's the advantage. You know, I've been thinking about slappers a lot heading into this year, and I've seen less and less of them as the years go on. Whenever you see a hard field like that, use it to your advantage. One pitch, one hit.
Brings in the transfer, Giselle Tapia. So transfer on transfer here as that misses high. Ana Gold, Claire Davidson, Amina Vega, Kelly Torres, Francesca Freelix, Jada Baker, and Kelsey Zampa. The opening 9 for Marissa Young and the Duke Blue Devils. Kelly Maxwell, arguably the headline in the offseason. If she wasn't, it was the thing that she was in response to in Jordy Ball going to Nebraska. We'll see her later tonight. But Kelly Maxwell going from Oklahoma State to Oklahoma, further cementing this group as the #1 preseason favorite. But so far, so good, because Deanna Jennings, who was simply brilliant for Duke last year, got off to a great start, and now Tapia trying to keep the battle going here against Maxwell. Giselle Tapia, the transfer from Pitt. Tapia hits that one well, but it is at Boone.
That one, you could see Kelly Maxwell, known for her curveball, kind of seeing a few rise balls up and in on those lefties. I think we saw with the first slap hit and then the second pitch bunt attempt. Duke's coming in, and they're looking to be aggressive. They're looking to attack. I think Oklahoma knows that's going to be their mindset, so they're trying to get them to chase out of the zone.
That one gets away from Maxwell and hits the elbow. Gold goes to first.
And you can hear Duke immediately respond in kind. They get a hit, they get on. It doesn't matter. It's a base runner. That's exactly what they want. Whenever you're Duke and you have the kind of powerhouse offense, runner on second with one out, that's ideal in the first inning.
Uncharacteristic start for Kelly Maxwell, who dominated in this tournament with the Cowgirls. And now Duke will bring one of their hottest hitters to bear. Yes, it's just game 1, but Claire Davidson was scorching for the Blue Devils in the fall. Has lit it up in the practice sessions before this, the Puerto Vallarta College Challenge. And Kelly Maxwell senses that, comes with 2 quick strikes.
I think there's something to be said for first game, first inning. New team last year, a little bit of nerves, but like you said, she looks like she's settling in.
Just the waist pitch to try and see if you can bait Davidson. Everything that doesn't go OU's way is always magnified a little bit because you consistently expect perfection from the back-to-back-to-back national champions. But bouncing back from adversity, it's why they're here, a member of this outstanding field. They don't want to win every game by 15-0 this early. They want to be challenged, and they're certainly going to get that from these Blue Devils. To center. That's great range from Jada Coleman. Squirts away, but no real advance to be had. That Oklahoma defense, outstanding again.
Outfield really having to have their range here. It's early in the morning. Having played on that field, I know that sun can get pretty brutal. It can get pretty intense. So being able to track that down in the gap and battle the sun, you can kind of see by the angle of Kinsey Hansen's helmet, it's pretty much overhead at this point.
That sun did get Coleman late in the first game, but she has very clearly adapted and overcome as Vega watches strike one.
I think something to be said also is we saw rise ball the first two batters, but as she settled in, Kelly Maxwell has peppered in a lot more curve. As I say that, she throws the rise, but she's peppered in a lot more curve, and you can tell that's where she's comfortable. That's where her go-to pitch is. Even though that is her go-to, we've seen Duke swing at a lot of high pitches, and that's the one that they look like they're hunting after.
Looks so good coming out of her hand, but it doesn't wind up being very good by the time it gets to the plate. Last two have missed too high, though. And so Kinsey Hansen will go talk to her pitcher, Maxwell. Gives us a chance to set the defense here for OU. We just saw Coleman in center. Core is in left. Boone is in right. The infield from left to right for the Sooners. Brito, Jennings, Hodge, and Sanders. Hansen doing the catching for Maxwell.
And like we talked about, there's a lot to prove for both of these teams as they start off their season. Maybe not to prove, but there's a statement that both of them want to make. And Duke has done such a good job coming out. I love Kinsey Hansen kind of stopping and resetting that momentum for her pitcher, resetting her mind and saying, hey, it's just softball. It's 1, 2, 3. Right. You know your pitch. Come right to me.
And everybody on the OU side knows that Maxwell is currently facing a preseason All-American. And Vega sends that one straight back. The highest ranked recruit for Coach Young at Duke. One of only 2 players to play them all last year for the Blue Devils. And broke the freshman home run record set by her teammate over at first base just the year before. It's Jennings and Gold at second and first respectively. Maxwell gets the strikeout. Kelly Maxwell doesn't face a lot of trouble, but when she does, you see the buckle down. That makes her one of the bona fide elite. 2 stranded on OU's offense that went into double digits in game 1. They're next. Perhaps the most clutch freshman in the sport of softball's history, Cassidy Curd, will make her sophomore debut here for the Duke Blue Devils. The first 7-inning no-no at Duke, got it in the ACC semifinals, 8 strikeouts against the Clemson Tigers.
Quick little mishap with the mask. I've been there, done that.
Got to make sure all the equipment is in tip-top shape when facing Oklahoma, but one of the outstanding youngsters anywhere in our sport begins the season for Duke. Curd's first pitch of the year, up top to Jada Coleman.
Like I said, I was so impressed with how Duke came out. High energy. That's something that they're going to want to maintain all game. But now it's Oklahoma's turn to get their offensive response here.
The ACC tournament had never seen a rookie throw a no-hitter until Cassidy Curd rewrote the record book. And that is a matter of course for this Duke team. Less than 10 years as a program, they are constantly setting new highs. Right now, this group is on the launching pad. Potential to the moon trajectory here this year. And we get to see an early measuring stick against, well, the measurement in this sport in Oklahoma.
And I love the patience from Jada Coleman there. She's able, that first changeup that came in for a strike, Curd knew what she was doing. Second pitch just floats it in. But you could hear Jada Coleman right away say, no, that wasn't the speed, that wasn't the pitch she was looking for, kind of laying off the highs. She's biding her time and waiting for that pitch.
Coleman, 2 hits, 2 RBI, a double, and 2 runs scored. Deuces wild in game 1 for Jada Coleman. She's in the driver's seat now. And runs it full.
That's the one Jada Coleman was looking for. You could see her want to go after it. But I think Curd did such a good job with that curveball, keeping it just low enough to make Coleman hesitate. That's such a great pitcher's pitch.
Opening payoff. Away and high. Jada Coleman injects some energy into the Sooners. She's the leadoff base runner.
And here's the reaction I'm pretty sure everybody was waiting for.
No doubt.
Jada Coleman, famous now for her reaction while drawing a walk. She's fired up.
The freshman Parker watching strike one. Jada Coleman has been doing this a while. Yeah.
Yeah, this is huge. She's second in the lineup, freshman, second game ever in college. There's a lot of confidence from Coach Gasso to put her there in that spot. But as we saw from last game, saw from last game, she looks like a vet. I mean, you know more than me. You called that game.
Couple RBI, 3 runs scored, 2 walks. She was perfect. It was a good game to be a freshman for Oklahoma. Although as we say that, the standout freshman, not saying a lot given what Ella Parker did, not in this opening 9 for Oklahoma because Patty Gasso has such an absurdly deep team. That's Pickering, who had a grand slam in her first collegiate at-bat. That's a great pitch from Curd.
And Curd, she is on it on that backdoor curve, especially to those lefties, taking advantage of them early. The placement right at the knee, it is so smooth. You don't see a lot of pitchers be able to spot that height location very often.
That one's up high. Easy advance for Jada Coleman.
And with Jada Coleman on the bases, you have to be aware. You could see her big leadoffs there just testing to see if anybody was paying attention, because if they weren't, she probably would have taken third. That's something that Duke as a defense kind of needs to have in their mind. She's going to be pressing the button, trying to get that extra base. She's a smart base runner. But Kurd, I think the message that coach is giving to her is, yes, she's on second, but so what? You're up in the count right now. You have the advantage. Attack these hitters, and our defense will take over.
Oklahoma wasn't afraid to run in the first game either. And it forced an error at second that ultimately scored a run. That was Ella Parker, who came all the way around to score. And, well, Ella Parker's in the batter's box right now. That pressure from OU constantly mounting. A pair of full counts to begin the season for Cassidy Kurd. Her payoff. Misses up top. Back to back. Bases on balls for the champs.
That was a great hold. You could tell Parker really, really wanted that pitch. But the control of her barrel to keep it back, that was so impressive. In a big moment where the crowd's starting to get up, being able to hold that back and draw that walk for her team, that's big time.
RBI chance for the RBI queen. Here's Tiara Jennings working ahead in the count.
And just from watching the Sooners the first few at-bats, I think their plan heading into it, make this pitcher pitch a lot of pitches. She likes to nibble. Make her come into the zone.
Kurd very clearly still settling in, yeah.
They can see she's nervous a little bit. They can see kind of those high pitches. Yeah, she's pounding the zone with one or two, but as the pitch count increases, that strike zone is going to get smaller and smaller, and Oklahoma's ready for whenever she throws into it.
Kurd does find the zone there. Important to note and remember, she is just a sophomore. Doesn't look like it very often, particularly over the course of her freshman campaign, but you begin year two against the juggernaut. That can get in your head. Still, she's one good theoretical pitch away from getting out of this thing.
Absolutely.
No outs yet.
And so far, her backdoor curve has been her bread and butter for that strike. It has been the one that's been taken the most. It's the one that hasn't been squared up. That's her bread and butter. So maybe an off speed and then you mix in that backdoor. I would love to see something.
That one straight back. There it is for Cassidy Kurd, her first strikeout of 2024.
And hey, if you're going to strike somebody out and make a statement, Tiara Jennings is the person to strike out. That curve tailing a little bit farther on the inside half of the plate. That was a beautiful, beautiful pitch, beautiful placement. But just when you think it's lit up, yeah. Your next batter.
A home run already. We've only played one game. There's a few of those. That one got up top.
That's the first pitch strike that Kurd has thrown. I mean, I think that would have been out of the zone if Hansen hadn't swung, but that's the first pitch strikes that she's had in the first four batters.
That one gets by Torres. So now it's two in prime position for Kinsey Hansen. Hansen fouls it off.
Hansen, she's been going after those high pitches. Again, that bread and butter pitch, that low backdoor curve. I wouldn't be surprised if she sprinkled that in, even if Hansen takes it, just to throw her off of the last three that have been up in the zone.
Hansen flares it and no problem. Tapia handles it and the escape hatch opens for Duke.
I mean, that's huge. You walk your first two batters, and then to be able to get at the heart of your lineup 2 quick outs, that is massive for Duke. They carried a lot of momentum from offense. I love to see how Curtis settled in after the first few batters.
Maxwell got into trouble, got out of it. Curd trying to do the exact same thing. That got Sid Sanders. So the bases will be full of Sooners with 2 outs. This was the exact same situation we had in game 1. Pickering went yard. Let's see what Alyssa Brito has in store.
Next up for Oklahoma, third baseman number 33, Alyssa Brito.
Brito holds up. A lot of movement coming out of the hand of Curd. The peel down to third base, nothing doing. Ryan Critchett says no swing. Bo Ewald, balls and strikes today behind the plate. Udom over at first. That one's up top.
You know, I just took a moment to kind of look in the background and see all the fans. It fills up pretty well, and those stands go up a little bit higher, and you can definitely tell that this tournament has grown. It's a fan favorite. You get to see softball. You get to have vacation. It's best of both worlds.
That hit to left, but in range for Davidson. Oklahoma leaves them loaded. And Cassidy Curd dances out of danger. A fun first inning sees no runs either way. We're off to the second.
We are headed to the top of the second inning. Never miss a game with FloSoftball. You can watch the video. Watch it live. All of the FloSoftball videos.
A case study in early adversity that goes by the wayside. Both Kelly Maxwell and Cassidy Curd wind up with a hit batter. That early season control briefly escaping before they both absolutely lock it down. We've got zeros on the board here in the top of the second. Torres, Freelick, and Baker due up here for the Duke Blue Devils. Go up against Maxwell. Last time we saw her here in Puerto Vallarta, it was a year ago. She went up against the Oregon Ducks and the running Rebs of Ole Miss. Her line, a casual 13 shutout innings with 23 strikeouts.
Leading off for the Duke Blue Devils here at the top of the second, the catcher number 3, Kelly Torres.
First inning jitters, first intensity, first punch swung. I don't know what you want to call it, but as we go into the second inning, I think this is where we're going to see something happen. There was a lot of maybe bases Bases are loaded, runners on base, pitchers are getting out of these jams, but nothing really happened. I think we'll see one or the other, one team score this inning.
It's so tough to evaluate as Torres now up 2-0 because on the one hand, both teams have unbelievably prolific offenses. On the other, this is two of the top pitchers anywhere on planet Earth right now. And so something's got to give eventually, but impossible to tell which.
Really liked Duke's approach to Maxwell early on. Yes, she wasn't throwing her best, but the swings that they took, they were hard, they were aggressive. They really want to let her know we're here, we're ready to swing. And in turn, that makes her a little bit more cautious with the pitches that she's throwing over the plate. She has to respect those swings. And you see her right now down 2-1.
Kelly Torres in the driver's seat. The Duke catcher will foul that one off. Kelly's been coming to Duke camp since 8th grade. It was always a perfect matchup between Coach Young and Kelly Torres. Now one of the senior leaders is plunked. Second hit batter of the game for Maxwell. And Duke has a leadoff base runner in both of our two frames.
There's been a lot of walks already. There's been a lot of hit by pitches. There's some free bases that are being left out, and I know one thing that a lot of coaches look at the end of games is how many runners did you leave on base? And just in the first inning alone, there were a lot of runners left on base.
The DP, Frankie Freelich. Shows bunt, brings it back. Pop throw down from Kinsey Hansen is the insurance. Bunt, well played. That is called doing the job right there for Duke.
Saw them want to do the same thing last inning when they got their leadoff on. Didn't quite happen, had it fouled off, but you could see they want to get those runners in scoring position. If you have runners on second base, a hit in the gap, something through the infield, you're good as gold, especially whenever you have speed.
Jada Baker going after the first pitch she sees. Baker, one of the captains for Duke this year, along with the transfer Tapia. Not too many redshirt sophomores earn that C, but she tells you all you need to know with that.
Great pitch location there by Kelly Maxwell. That curve came across the plate, almost breaking in towards the ankles. It's a tough pitch to foul off on the inside half.
That one
and
in
she
the
goes
dirt.
back there
Great
again.
block.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, great job by Hansen behind the plate. You can see where Maxwell was heading with that pitch. Had that curveball that was kind of breaking in and down. Got the swing. Okay, let's do it again. Maybe a little bit farther down. She missed just a tad, but you could see the little I want to swing at that.
Mm-hmm. Not a moment's hesitation there. Flying down to third. What a throw by Hansen. Brito applies the tag, and Torres left out to dry.
Kinsey Hansen, one of probably the best catcher in D1 softball. I mean, the way she makes her pitchers feel, the way she blocks. We just saw the way that she's able to reach across her body and still throw the runner out at third. Phenomenal, phenomenal job, and great job by Brito applying that tag. That was a hook slide around third, and it's kind of hard for Brito to stretch and reach that, but it was a great quick tag.
This time last year, Lindsey Hansen was out of the lineup. She missed the first couple of weeks of the Sooners season a year ago. She's pretty clearly excited to be back. That was a laser beam. Two into Baker. She sends that one over to Tiare Jennings. The stretch by Sid Sanders is enough. The Oklahoma defense for the second inning in a row puts together what for most are highlight reel plays. For this group, it's just routine.
Kind of helped out Kelly Maxwell a little bit that last inning. You had that fantastic throw and tag by Kinsey Hansen and Alyssa Brito. And then Tiare Jennings with the backhand across the body, across the diamond. A great stretch by Sid Sanders. That is Oklahoma in a nutshell right there. It's a full team effort. It's not one or the other. It's all cylinders, all parts of it working.
Other Oklahoma in a nutshell moment here. Avery Hodge played a lot last year, mostly as a pinch runner. Now she's in the opening 9 in a top 10 matchup. The depth that Patty Gasso's team has in this, her 30th year, boggles the mind.
A little sneaky there, Avery Hodge. I love to see that surprise. You could see the reaction from the Duke defense. They weren't quite expecting her to lay that one down. I talked in the very first pitch of the game, Jennings with that beautiful placement slap. I love to see these slappers, these lefties, mix things up a little bit.
If you don't watch a lot of softball, you probably think Oklahoma's out here just hitting bombs every single at bat. And make no mistake, that is part of their identity. But it is a true full toolkit for this Sooners offense.
It's a great spot there by Kurd. She has the advantage right now. She's up in the count, trying to get Hodge to nibble at that inside pitch. Especially as the slapper, sometimes that's hard to discern. Is it on the plate? Is it not?
Hodge stood in there, went right through it. Second
He
K of the day
pitched
for
by
Cassie
Kurd. Yeah, I mean, that curveball is really working. She's working that backdoor, that cross the plate regular curve. It's looking beautiful, but the placement, I think, is what's been key for her. Sometimes pitchers get into trouble with that curveball. If it's mid-thigh height, she's keeping it right at the knees.
Hannah Kaur came in last game. Now she gets the start. She was hit by a pitch and eventually came around to score. Can't time that one up. This is the Cassidy Kurd that ran through the ACC tournament.
She is finding her groove. You can see it too, a little bit of the strut in the walk as she's walking to the back of the circle. You can see the confidence starting to settle in. You can see her start to settle in. Deep breath there.
Back-to-back Ks for Cassidy Curd.
I mean, sure, you can have your defense make amazing plays, or you could just strike out back to back. It's up to you.
Yeah.
Cassidy Curd says, you know what? I'm just going to do the strikeouts back to back. I'll just take that route.
An artist in that regard. Had the 8 against Clemson. Has gone double-digit Ks already in her young career in a game. Did it against Longwood with 11. It'll be up to Riley Boone.
And I think the difference that I've seen from top of the lineup to bottom of the lineup, top of the lineup was really patient. They made her pitch. Bottom of the lineup, I've seen a lot of first pitch swings from them.
Two straight walks began the day, to your point. And since then, the strikeouts have begun to mount.
I mean, I kind of go back to Kenzie Hansen swinging at the rise balls. She can handle those pitches very, very well. But if the plan is, I don't know if it is or not, but if it is, make her come down, especially when she's been walking so many pitchers. It kind of has to be perfect for you to swing at it.
No doubt. Although, it is easier for us to say that than to do it on the field. Those rise balls, those balls up top just look so good. When it works, I think it's the most unfair pitch in the sport.
Curd looking to come in with that off speed, but you could tell Boone right away. She wasn't out in front. She wasn't leaning. She wasn't looking for that off speed. She wasn't fooled by it.
Back to back in the dirt. You can see the thinking from Curd. Keep it low, try and get a waste pitch in there. But that's too low, and Boone runs it full.
Riley Boone, she's kind of a sneaky hitter for Oklahoma. They placed her at the 9 all last year, and you gotta think 9 hole, like, okay, like last one, and then you turn it over, and then you have to worry. Not so with her.
Nope. That just misses. Riley Boone would be a leadoff hitter for 98% of teams in the NCAA. She flips this lineup and hands it to Jada Coleman.
But I mean, realistically, after the first inning, there is no leadoff, right?
Right.
So how often do hitters come up and it's 7-8-9 or 8-9-1, right? And if you have that caliber of hitter kind of lower in the lineup, the ability to turn it over just increases exponentially.
Absolutely. You know, you probably sacrifice a few ABs over the course of a full season, but the ability to just lay those traps all across 1 through 9, it's something Coach Gasso's talked a lot about, just having 0 empty runs in this batting order, and that's certainly the case this year for number 1. One to the Big 12 Player of the Year. Coleman works ahead.
And then there's that discipline that we were talking again. 3 pitches in and not a single swing. Yes, she got a strike called on her. No, it didn't ruin the at-bat. It didn't cause her to panic and say, okay, I got to swing at the next one that's remotely close. She's waiting for that pitch that she wants.
Not that time, and a pop throw there from Torres to try and steal one. That was just a nasty pitch. I mean, in her head, that looked a lot different than it was. Yeah, that was sick.
Cassidy Curd. We've seen that off speed a couple times. And whenever it's at that right height, it is dirty.
That went in on the hands. Jada Coleman felt that one.
A little bit of action there. I love it. 2-2 count. You have Riley Boone on bases. Going for the steal. Why not?
Boone can fly.
Just another double threat right there. You have the speed of Boone. You have the speed of Coleman. Both of them able to be so versatile. Both really, really smart base runners as well.
Two's up. That one just blooped over to Baker. Makes the grab. Cassidy Curd settling in here in year 2 and stifling the top team in America through 2.
This is a good game.
I had a feeling.
Yeah.
Sports evaluation is on the cutting edge of sports analytics. Founded in 2020 by the owner of Triple Crown Sports, Dave King, CSE provides youth and collegiate athletes with verified sensor data. Trusted by and tested with over 200 college programs, CSE's team of dedicated mathematicians provides the only valid data outlet available to accurately evaluate players as they compare to collegiate levels. Visit the CSE tip today to learn more.
Off to the top of the third we go. 9-1-2 for the Duke Blue Devils. Group that's just continued to grow. And as you start to kind of dissect the national polls, this Duke team maybe doesn't get as much love as they should, simply just because they haven't been around as long as most other programs. And you certainly do have to earn it in the sport of softball. Oklahoma has, but Duke, just at every single opportunity they're given, continues to impress. We'll see Kelsey Zampa lead it off for the Blue Devils.
Leading off here in the top of the third for the Duke Blue Devils, right fielder.
Mostly been a runner to this point in her career, but Coach Young told us last night she's just had such a good fall that she's earned this chance. After 30 plate appearances last year, she'll pick up her first in this first game against Kelly Maxwell. Welcome to the opening 9.
Nice pitch by Maxwell, going on the inside half, going on the outside half. Getting ahead, I think, is going to be important for these pitchers. You've seen them kind of struggle a little bit, but whenever they attack and they throw their pitches, you've seen a lot of success.
Zampa put that in a great spot, and it doesn't matter. Riley Boone, come on.
Riley Boone didn't quite know. Should I dive for that one? Do I catch it on my feet? Ended up doing some kind of like Elvis style knee slide there. That was a great catch.
That's a perfect way to describe it.
I mean, I was like, I don't know what she's gonna do. Elvis style.
Elvis style.
I mean, why not, right?
Absolutely. Listen, Tennessee's a huge part of this sport. Might as well adapt the icon. Say, hey, let's do it. Elvis style.
Elvis style.
Deanna Jennings didn't wait around very long. One pitch, one single. First time around, and Deanna Jennings hit that well enough to earn a second hit, but it's right at Brito. Bad luck meets some unbelievable skill from the Sooners.
Man, what a snag by Alyssa Brito. That was unreal. She does such a good job at the hot corner. She played whenever she first started her career at Oregon at short, but since then she's moved around, been in left field, played at third base last season. She's just so athletic. I love that catch from her because it's just, it shows what that defense can do. You saw that catch from Riley Boone. You saw that from Alyssa Brito. The defense is on point for Oklahoma, and Cassidy Curd has been on point for Duke.
We mentioned it last game, but when Brito came from Oregon, she told Coach Gasso, hey, wherever you need me, I'm there. She just has that versatility that gives you so many options as a coach. And as you just saw, it doesn't really matter where you put her. She's probably going to excel in that spot. Tapia hits it well. That is 3 hard hit balls by the Duke Blue Devils, and none of them resulted in a base runner. Oklahoma, fantastic.
Triple Crown Sports would like to recognize and thank the Sheraton Bougainvilleas, which has been a valued partner of Triple Crown Sports over the many years. Thank you, Sheraton and staff, for your continued hospitality throughout the Puerto Vallarta College Challenge.
It really takes all phases of a game to win back-to-back-to-back national championships. And we are seeing it right now from this Oklahoma Sooner team. The offense has been good in spurts, but the pitching and defense has been almost unbelievable until you realize that it is Oklahoma. But still, Cassidy Curd and the Blue Devils stride for stride so far.
I mean, this is what you want to see out of 2 top 10 teams. You want to see, are they evenly matched? Is there a battle going on? As a fan, as a viewer, as somebody who loves to watch softball, but as a player on these teams, as a coach right now, you're going to want to see these adjustments start to happen. And I think we saw that from Duke. You talked about 3 hits back to back to back. None of them dropped, yes, but that's the adjustment. We didn't see too many solid contacts. We didn't see multiple back to back to back. They were kind of sprinkled throughout the lineup. That shows they're making the adjustment right away against Kelly Maxwell.
Here's plate appearance number 2 of this game for Ella Parker. She's watching strike 1. We caught up with Coach Gasso this week and asked her, what do you think of the freshman? And she said Ella Parker is going to be in our daily lineup despite the experience and depth. She's just that good. But right now it's the sophomore Curd with all the advantage. Not a bad idea.
I mean, that was a big swing there from Parker. And then to go back and try to tease her into drawing that pitcher's pitch and get that swing.
Parker loops it up, and it gets out of play. I mentioned it earlier, but as we get a look at the fans there, because that one went out of play. A packed house here at Nancy Almada Stadium in Puerto Vallarta. Not the easiest trip, but these two fan bases were ecstatic to make it, and it results in an incredible atmosphere all tournament long in both sessions. We've got some really, really great group of fanatics. That's what fan is short for, and it's going to only add to the experience for these athletes.
I mean, twist my arm. I'll go watch softball near the beach.
Right.
Fine, I'll do it.
Yeah. I think in particular, our nightcap will represent a group that was like, I think we can, coming from the Pacific Northwest and Nebraska. It was 18 inches of snow on the field in Lincoln. There was not 18 inches of snow here in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. Two, run it full.
I think that's the right call from the bump. That's a little inside. You could see a lot of hand movement behind the plate. Just a little bit. That is a great pitcher's pitch. That's really, really hard to lay off as a hitter.
Parker's run it full in both of her plate appearances. And she'll keep it right there.
And a really good battle this at-bat, too.
Yeah.
At least 8 pitches into this count. She's going to make it a tough one. She's not going to go down without a fight.
The 9th pitch from Curd. Just enough. I don't think Ella even knew she got a piece.
I mean, that was the 11th pitch right there. This has been an absolute battle between these two. You had the freshman, you had the sophomore pitcher. It's back and forth, back and forth. And I think the adjustment is going to have to be throw something on the other side of the plate. We've been seeing her attack Parker on the inside. Throw something on the other side of the plate. Throw something maybe a little bit higher. Make her chase out of what she's been seeing.
Curd's got the plan. The payoff again. This one's in play and just within reach. A nice little basket catch by Jada Baker.
Nice little indeed. You can kind of see a little bit from that aerial view. There's a lot of dirt on this infield. It goes back probably a good 20, 30 feet. That's huge range. She caught that in the grass. So to be able to make that catch, it was softly hit. That could have been an easily a dropped bloop, quick single for Kinsey, for Tiare Jennings as she steps up to the plate.
So how does Curd keep the momentum going? After the long battle, she starts it out with a strike.
I mean, that low curveball has been getting these girls all day long. It is beautiful. And I think Oklahoma's trying to adjust to that high pitch and that low curveball. It's hard to hit both planes. You got to choose one or the other. Just then you saw that, right? You saw the pitch before. It was low. It was below the knees. That pitch high, up at the shoulders, maybe even a little bit over. And Jennings going after both of them. You can't hit both planes. The barrel angle is different. You have to be able to lock in and choose one of those. And I think that's what you've seen from Oklahoma, a lot of fly balls from them trying to go after too much at once.
Just reached out and poked that one. That's a long way to dead center field. How about the strength of Tiare Jennings?
I guess Tiare Jennings decided that she wanted to go after that low pitch, and she did. Oklahoma striking first with a massive center field home run shot. You love to
That
see
doesn't
it from
even
them, and
seem
immediately the
possible.
crowd erupts. That's so fun.
That's absurd. You look at that swing in isolation, right? Take the name off of it. You're like, that's a lazy fly to center because she was not set. She reached out and she just got a piece of it. But Tiare Jennings is so strong. She hit it to the deepest part of the yard for a home run. That is bonkers right there.
I mean, I think that's their first hard hit this whole game.
Yeah, absolutely. Right now it's 1-1 to Kinsey Hansen. This one much more routine to center, and it turns into an adventure, but Vega sticks with it, fights the Puerto Vallarta sun, and answers the run of Oklahoma Web Jams with one of her own.
Man, we talked about the sun in the first inning and how difficult it can be on this field whenever it's directly overhead. And you saw she was tracking it pretty much all the way, and then last minute there was a, oh no, where did it go? But to stay underneath the ball and track it all the way into the glove, a fantastic catch.
Sanders watching ball one. She'll be wary of that. She was hit by a pitch her first time up, and there another one inside. So the message very, very clear. We are approaching Sid Sanders on the interior part of the plate from Duke.
I think Curd, the response with Hansen after Jennings hit that home run, fantastic job. Okay, I'm going to go to that same pitch that Tiare Jennings hit the home run out, and I'm going to get Kinsey Hansen out. You want to see her go after Sid Sanders the same way. After you get a huge, huge out from Kinsey Hansen, you come up to Sid Sanders, and it's 3-0 really quick. I think taking the deep breath of, okay, there was a big adrenaline rush of the home run, then the big adrenaline rush of Kinsey Hansen got out. How does she reset? How does she get back to neutral? How does she get back to her perfect space to be able to go at Sid Sanders?
Sanders very much in the driver's seat right now as well. And she'll walk it out. Second free pass of the game for Sid Sanders.
I mean, big walk there, getting Oklahoma back into it, trying to get him to rally. But think back to whenever we saw Curd really dealing. She was going and attacking with that backdoor curveball again and again and again. I would like to see a few more of those this at bat against Brito.
Went through a little bend right out the gate. Alyssa Brito was on it. A 2-out base knock.
Brito said, I am all over this. Hard hit in the 5-6.
Sooners did not have a hit before this inning. Now they've got a home run and a single. And
We
Maya
talked
Bland
about
will
it,
come
both
in and run at
pitchers.
second base.
We talked about both pitchers not getting knocked around, but starting to see hard hits getting hit off of them. And I would say both Curd and Maxwell are tied up at 2 apiece with 2 hard hits off of them, but one just happened to go over the fence for Oklahoma. That's the difference right there, is where can you, obviously home runs are great, but where can you get the ball to land? Where can you get it to fall? We saw with Brito just then. It's hit where nobody is. It's being able to hit the ball hard enough that even if somebody's there, it still goes past them.
Yep. It's 2 changes here for Oklahoma. Torres comes in to hit. Bland comes in to run. That is high and tight.
We talked with Coach Gasso earlier this past week. She talked about how it's a battle over at second base. It's a battle at shortstop. We don't know who's going to be where. That's what this preseason is for, is to try and figure that out. And Torres, she was in the mix about talks of maybe we'll see her at second base. And so no surprise as she comes in to hit for Hodge, we'll probably see her at second base next inning.
And it's riding the strong hand as well. 1 for 1 with a double and a walk against UVU. Just fired that one in there, a get me over pitch.
Curd getting that call that she's been wanting. Hasn't been getting it too much on the lefties on that corner. But that's the call that she's been wanting. That's the call she's been waiting on.
Right back.
You can see right now the outfield super deep. They're warning track right now. Gotta respect the power that Alina Torres has.
About to say the exact same thing. Sooners are right at the fence. This Oklahoma team pushes the boundaries of every single ballpark they go to. They will certainly do so in Love's Field here this year for the first time. Torres will keep the battle going.
This is another big battle that we've seen. First one, I think, was Parker whenever she had that 11 pitch at bat. She was battling, and look who we see in the on-deck circle, none other than Cassidy Pickering. The other freshman, as I was speaking of one. How's that? Her first at-bat of college, she had a grand slam. Not a bad way to start it off.
Not a bad way to start it off. Torres hit that well and drops it into right field. Bland comes around to score. Oklahoma has doubled the lead.
Man, what a battle by Torres. She was battling back and forth, and I think we'll see a change here. But what a great battle there.
This is no massive indictment on Curd. It's just that Duke has a bevy of choices. And so they'll play matchups as well. Pickering was scheduled to come in and pinch hit. We'll see if that remains the move. A pitching change here for the Blue Devils with the Oklahoma offense waking up in their second game of the year.
New pitcher for Duke, number 15, Lily Walker.
Lily Walker will come in. And what a backup plan for Coach Young. 8-2 a year ago, an ERA of 1.20 in her 58 and a third innings pitched. She struck out 40 while walking just 19. A breakout superstar for the Blue Devils in 2023 will now make her 2024 debut with Sooners at the corners and 2 down.
For Duke, we talked about how the outfielders were playing deep warning track. Lena Torres roped that one, but kind of bounced a few times, shallow out in the gap. They were able to minimize the damage, but not enough. I think we saw Curd give up 4 hard hits in Oklahoma in that inning alone. I think that was the right call to be able to switch her out. And again, it's early in the season. This is everybody's first outing. Being able to feel yourself out, test yourself out, know when to throw this pitch, know when to not. I think that's something that a lot of teams are going to be going through these next week or two.
Something to be said, too. This is the second game for Oklahoma, first for Duke. So OU got the extra chance to get into rhythm. Very much did in that first game against UVU. One to Pickering. Pickering in the very first game of her collegiate career, showing off and had 5 RBI. There are players that will go through an entire 4-year career without a 5 RBI game. But Pickering added the sac fly on top of the grand slam. Just outstanding. Reached out, the dive there by Gold does the job. At least at first, gets away at the end, and this inning continues. Cassidy Pickering causes chaos, and Oklahoma leads by 3.
I think, what's important to note too is the pitcher that came in for Duke, she's actually from a small town in Oklahoma, kind of near Tulsa, but Walker, number 15, she has a little bit of something to prove. I mean, I think it's a local girl against Oklahoma. That was her home state. What better time than now to be able to show out and shove a little bit against them?
Member of Chickasaw Nation of Unila, Oklahoma. That representation incredibly important to her and incredibly important to this Duke program. You're right now going against the hometown team. That one's chopped up and right on cue. Walker fields her position brilliantly and does stop the bleeding. But Oklahoma on 3 hits, puts together a few runs, and just like that, the Sooners are in business. Just like that, one of the most dangerous phrases in the sport of softball. Kelly Maxwell enters the circle with a fairly sizable lead. 3-0 OU. We go top four.
I mean, what an inning. There was a lot of chaos. There was a lot of movement. There was a lot of action. That's exactly what you want to see. We talked about being able to make responses, being able to make adjustments and make them quickly. That was what Oklahoma did in a nutshell, almost going through the whole batting lineup.
Everybody but Coleman hitting that frame on a gold first pitch swinging. One up, one down.
Next up for the Blue Devils, left fielder number 7, Claire Davidson.
And it's important to note, too, that Duke was doing a great job starting to get those hard hits off of Maxwell. They were having a little bit more pop. They were just hit directly to people. Staying in that same zone is going to be important for them. It's only the 4th inning. You have a lot of game left, but if you're trying to play too far outside of yourself, it'll be hard. But the first 3 innings, they've done a great job of looking like they're zoned in and they're locked in and they know what they want out of Maxwell. They know what pitches they're hunting for.
By the way, Oklahoma, as far as the subs go, pretty much keeps it straight up. Pickering stays in the game and plays left field. Torres stays in the game and plays second. The only re-entry is Sid Sanders resuming at first base. Davidson gave it a ride, but Riley Boone has been a magnet in right field.
Riley Boone with the catch and the out.
That's another one that we were just talking about. A crush, absolutely.
Number 17, Amina
Barreled that one up.
Mangala.
Riley Boone right there, making a play. Duke right now, they just need one hit to fall. I think if they can get one hit to fall, the game changes for them. They just need to get that one hit.
Deanna Jennings has the only hit right now for the Blue Devils, and it was on the very first pitch of the game. Other than that, well, she has been exactly what you expected. Lift it up. Torres and Boone communicate. It's Boone's ball. 1, 2, 3, go the Blue Devils. Kelly Maxwell. Well, she's good.
Did a good job of coming in as relief, but top of the lineup, fresh start, new inning. Oklahoma is coming in with the intention, we have to score more. We want to score more. We need to get hits. For Walker, the intention right now is to be able to draw these Oklahoma hitters, especially at the top of the lineup, to swing at things a little bit outside of their zone.
Good find at the outer part of the zone there for Lily Walker. Coleman doesn't even get to Jennings. That's Vegas for the first.
Walker getting a big first out of Jada Coleman. It's her second time popping up. You want to keep that trend going, especially as you get to Parker, Jennings, Hansen. You want to make quick outs, not have them see a lot of pitches, get quick swings early in at-bats.
Beautiful bender right there from Lily Walker. Nothing but
fair,
first pitch strike.
Yeah, you force Oklahoma to have to swing earlier if you throw strikes early in the count, if you pound the zone.
Same idea, slightly different execution. On a hop, Vega been involved in both outs.
There it is, same idea. It's make them swing, make them feel that you have to go after these pitches. That pitch is inside, a little bit high. Probably not the best pitch for Parker to swing at. Right now, Walker is setting the tone early with first pitch strikes, and then she comes right back at him.
It wasn't necessarily the best pitch to swing at for Tiara Jennings in her last at bat, and it didn't make one bit of difference.
I think we can all say clearly Tiara Jennings is one of those athletes that even if you do fool her, even if she doesn't have the best form, the best swing, she can still hit it out of the park with ease.
To the longest part of the yard. I'm honestly still thinking about that in between innings. It's just such a absurd home run that would have been like impossible a few years ago, but the level of athlete in this sport just continues to grow and grow and grow. And now the level is awesome.
And you can see the caution that Walker has with Jennings. Leads the count 2-0. Kind of nibble around the zone with her. She's not taking any chances.
Ooh. Came home with that bender.
Back to back.
Yep. Curve working well. That one was low. Again, it doesn't matter. Jennings squared it up. She's got back-to-back hits.
That one, the placement on that was so absurd. It was low, it was in, it was below the knee, it was on the corner of the plate. Walker, she nailed that location, but Jennings, she's just that type of hitter who can be able to hit that. And look at her, big smile on her face. Yep. I mean, I would be too. Is that a good couple last bats? Gets on base, passes the bat to her teammate Kinsey Hansen.
Right back to the curve. That one had some elevation to it as well for strike one. So now through about a game and a half, Tiare Jennings has 2 hits, one of which was the home run, and 3 walks. She's already been on base 5 times.
Change up again.
Yeah.
You can see the little slight knee buckle from Kenzie Hansen. Jennings wasn't fooled by that one, like you said. Just the ability to read the pitch, keep her hands back, and barrel it through the zone, even if her body is not necessarily in the right spot.
Dive there. Tapia manages to hold on. Again, the difficult made to look routine. There is a reason that this is a top 10 matchup. Oklahoma and Duke living up to the billing.
Fans and officially human behind the stripes. Our mission is to elevate the respect of sport officials in every sport, in every contest, and in every venue at all levels of competition. Officially human wishes to recognize and thank the umpires working today's game. We appreciate the good sportsmanship.
It's Oklahoma with the 3-run lead, though. Looking to go 2-0 in their doubleheader day here in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. They've got 2 more coming up after this. Washington and Long Beach await. Duke's doubleheader is tomorrow. Iowa State and Nebraska. A packed field.
I mean, I guess they have to be just enjoying and soaking up all this sun. Not only are they starting off their season, they're starting it off in Mexico, and they get to start it off in a field. We were talking to Nebraska, and they were saying it's been snowing, it's been raining, it's been all kinds of crazy weather. They don't normally get on the field until much later on in the season. So for them, this is like the trifecta of a way to start their season. And most importantly, they're healthy.
Yeah, that's big. We talked about it. Both teams have dealt with injuries at different points last year, some really critical junctures. And there are teams in this tournament that are not healthy. These 2 are. And it only adds to the top 10. Kelly Torres v. Kelly Maxwell. Right now it's advantage Torres.
Good layoff on that off speed on the outside. I feel like this game has also flown by a little bit. I looked up and, man, we're in the 6th inning already, top of it. It's been pretty much 1 inning that we've seen the most contact, the most hits, and then that 1 inning that Oklahoma scored their runs. But besides that, a lot of 3 up, 3 downs, maybe 4 up, 3 down. It's been fairly quick rushing through those innings.
That one is right to Brito. Duke at this point has to be a little frustrated. I mean, they know it's the softball season, it's a long year, but at a certain point, you'd really like these plays to stop being made if you're rooting for the Blue Devils.
Maybe there should just be a big fence right in front of Alyssa Brito that says, do not hit.
Yeah.
Don't hit it that way, and then maybe it'll fall through. She has been like a vacuum over there on the corner.
Freelich goes after the first one. You know, there's the analytic, right? Hit percentage, the possibility when you factor in launch angle and the velo off the bat, X% of the time it's a base knock. So many of these, by the numbers, should be base hits. And that's where the analytics, at least that one, doesn't necessarily factor in. This is the back-to-back-to-back national champions who make plays that are very much low percentage and unreal to watch.
I think sometimes it's so easy to get caught up in the numbers, in the analytics, and yes, it is so important. But there has to be that level of feel. And talking with all the coaches in this tournament, I feel like we heard them echo that thought of, yes, we look at it, but at the end of the day, it's my gut. I go with my gut. I go with my feeling. And I think what makes these teams that are so good, that are in the top, they have that gut feeling of, she's going to throw this pitch here. This ball is going to be hit here, an inch over. As a pitcher, I want to throw it here because I think I can fool her there. It's that feeling, that instinct, that softball IQ.
Freelich showing some of that IQ right now as she stays alive. Frankie has to lay down the sacrifice bunt her first time around, so this is her first chance to swing away here in this 2024 season for Duke. She's looking to shorten up with 2 strikes and runs it full. A little early, straight pull. Heads up down that third base coaching box. Coach Young will have the reaction speed even after a long travel day. It was about 12 hours for the Blue Devils. Had in the late practice though. Coach Young said, we don't care one bit. We're ready to start this season. Tiare Jennings also very ready. He ranges over for out number 2. So it'll be up to Jada Baker to try and get Kelly Maxwell out of this rhythm.
Now batting the shortstop number 25, Jada Baker.
Like we talked about,
13.
what seems like last inning and the inning before and the inning before, we've seen these hits by Duke, and they are so good. They're so hard, and the analytics all point to, yeah, that should have been a hit. If they can just squeeze one where it just drops, I think they'll be able to feel that momentum again that they felt in that first inning.
This is the Kelly Maxwell that the softball world was terrified of when they saw she was joining Oklahoma. She has faced the minimum in the last 3 innings, on the doorstep of doing it again, and thanks to the caught stealing has retired 13 straight. Did she go? No. Baker hangs on by a sliver. That gets some oohs and ahs from Sooner Nation.
There was a couple earlier in the game where I had to squint a little bit where Kurt, he had that beautiful backdoor. And that was another one where, I don't know, a little bit too close to call when you have 2 strikes as a batter.
Back-to-back full counts. Got Freelich to pop up on the 3-2. Maxwell comes home and will need to do so again.
We've seen so many at-bats where they've gone deep into counts where hitters have been down 0-2. They've come back, they've battled back, fouled off strikes, drawn balls. I love to see this discipline for these players in the plate, especially so early. This is the first weekend that they're playing and already having that discipline.
Kelly Maxwell. Just her second strikeout of the day. She hasn't done it that way. It's been a defense-type game for her, but she has now faced the minimum in 4 straight innings. Pretty much all the offense coming over the course of 15 minutes or so. That third inning bringing about the 3 runs for Oklahoma. Other than that, this barrage of pitchers, 2 for Duke and Kelly Maxwell, have been outstanding. We go to the bottom of the 5th. OU trying to change that with Sanders, Brito, and Torres scheduled to hit.
Corey, I feel like this is a question that everybody talks about at the beginning of every year. Oh, the pitchers, they're going to be the ones to dominate this year. No. It's going to be the hitters. Yeah. It's going to be a hitter's year. I'm curious what you think. Do you think it's going to be a pitcher or hitter year?
I kind of feel like, and I always lean pitchers. I just think the way hitting goes, baseball and softball being such games of failure, it takes a second to get into the mindset of hitting. Pitchers have the inherent advantage, right? And so, yes, they need to get midseason form too, but I always think early season pitchers have the advantage, and I think that's going to be even more true this year with so many pitchers in new places going against competition that wasn't necessarily expecting it 5-6 months ago. It'll be interesting to watch. How about you? What do you think?
I'm right there with you. I think it's definitely going to be a pitcher's year. Off the top of my head, the past few years, there's always been maybe like 3 or 4 where I'm like, yeah, they're solid pitchers. But now I feel like that list has grown to there's 8, there's 9, there's 12. And I have this whole list of pitchers in my head, and they're all excellent. And I would love to see them battle it out against some of the best hitters. And I think they would win 9 times out of 10. So I think it might be the year of the pitcher.
If nothing else, today will be the day of the pitcher. We have seen 2 really good performances in this one. Game 3 should be outstanding, and Game 4 tonight slated to be one of the best pitching matchups we're going to have all year. A pair of former prep teammates in Nebraska slated to go against each other as the Cornhuskers take on the Washington Huskies.
Actually, now that I'm thinking on it, I kind of want to rephrase. I think this is going to be the year of pitching staffs. Yes, the pitcher, but I think we're going to see a lot of staffs work. Beautiful pitch there in tandem, tag team style, almost like you would see in baseball. Maybe not as frequent of changes just because in softball the arms can go longer, but I think we'll see that. I mean, great example right now is the Curd and Walker, that tandem right there.
Sanders rips it into right. Zampa! No way!
Oh my goodness. And I love how afterwards she's like, yeah, that was good. Turns away. Yeah, that kind of hurt. That was a flying leap. She was completely parallel. Full extension, full reach for that one. I mean, the amount of trust, if you miss it, it's at the field. It's at the fence.
Yep.
That catch was incredible. Has to
Wow.
be a top 10.
No
I
doubt.
mean, the weekend is still early, but man,
Yep.
that was
And
fantastic.
Oklahoma's probably got some entries, right? I mean, they have been unbelievable defensively in this game, but wow.
I think that one tops it for me defensive-wise.
I agree with
That
you.
was an
I
incredible
agree with you.
play.
Puerto 1 for 2 today.
Great pitch
Around
there.
that time.
This is Burrito's second time facing Walker. Got the hit the first time in that 5-6, but Walker's done such a good job of just moving the ball around the zone. It's never in one spot too often.
Alyssa Burrito gives it a ride. Claire Davidson sees it the entire way for out number 2.
And I think Walker is different from Kurt in the way of she might not be as overwhelming. You're not going to see the K numbers that Kurt will draw up, but Walker just, again, just making the hitters just enough off to where they have to swing at it, and then the defense, they get to play and they get the outs. And it's a really, really beautiful synergy the way that she works and trusts her defense.
It's funny you use the word synergy there. The first time I heard reference to the stat tracking and analytics that is synergy, I thought the coach was saying we have synergy, like, oh yeah, we have good team cohesion in the sport. And obviously that's critically important. So I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. And
He's
I've
like,
since
no,
heard
not
synergy
that.
mentioned by every single coach. Yeah, no, not that. Now it's very critical to the sport in its own way, in that it is now pretty much uniform across P5. Walker coming home to Torres. In for strike.
Torres had a nice rope in the gap last time she came up. She's one of the many in the Oklahoma roster who is fighting for a starting spot, trying to find something at second. But Coach Gasso talked about ultimately it comes down to the bats, who's going to be effective.
Yep.
And so far these past 2 games, Alina Torres has been so impressive.
Two for 2 thus far on the season. Doubling an RBI. So watch that one in the dirt. Her second walk.
I think also when I think of Torres from last season to this one, she seems slower in the box, not as rushed, not as panicked, a little bit more in control of her body, of the decision making, versus last year it was rushed, it was not panicked, but trying to prove too much, trying to force too much. So it's good to see her a little bit more settled.
Second AB today for Cassidy Pickering. Torres right now will get to settle back into the dugout as she is pinch run for.
First base for the Sooners, number 82, Avery Hodge.
It'll be Avery Hodge.
Batting is number 7, Cassidy Pickering.
So Hodge, who started this game at second, will re-enter and conceivably finish at the Keystone as that race heats up right before our eyes here. Coach Gasso evaluating the options in real time.
Nice pitch by Walker, getting that outside corner. Cassidy Pickery's proven both in the fall and the spring that she can hit both sides of the plate really well. So Walker's a great matchup for her because she's able to hit both sides and move the ball around.
Pickering hit it well. Hodge to third. Sooners at the corners. Cassidy Pickering might be in the running for National Freshman of the Week right now. Simply locked in to begin her career.
I was talking with Kat Oshima before the game, and she was calling Oklahoma's first game, and she said the two freshmen, they really play like veterans, and there's no delay, there's no panic. They just seem very comfortable in the box. They seem comfortable with who they are and their decision making, and I love that from them. And Patty Gasso talked about how the coaches, they don't have to do too much with the senior class, but they have really stood back and watched the upperclassmen, the senior class, talk to the younger girls and kind of guide them, teach them, grow them, because they won't be here next year, and that'll be the next generation of Oklahoma Sooners to take over. And I think that's one thing that Oklahoma does so well. I think that contributes to their success year after year is they're able to share their knowledge and impart it and have people buy into that knowledge, buy into the program year after year because they're so open with it.
So same deal we have at second base. We also got in left. Hannah Kaur will re-enter the game and run for Pickering over at first. Riley Boone, conceivably slated to hold down right field this year as opposed to left. She watches strike one.
And of course, scooted over to second. She said, I'll take that. Thank you.
Thank you. Chopped up. That's just off the glove of Walker. Baker able to save the day. Tapia finishes. And Duke keeps OU at 3. When these two met up last year, it was 4-0. This one's shaping up to be just as good.
Social media accounts and join the conversation about your team here at the PV College Challenge. Give the fans back home a real-time perspective about the game. Use the hashtag PV College Challenge for all the latest tournament news, notes, photos, and information. Be sure to follow the Puerto Vallarta College Challenge on Facebook and Twitter.
Well, the obvious headline right now in this top 10 matchup is that Oklahoma and Duke do not need any time to get into midseason form from a defensive standpoint. Both making phenomenal plays all across the diamond, and we stay at 3-0. Kelly Maxwell will step aside here amidst a really good groove, but Patty Gasso's got a lot of options, and she turns to the super senior, Carly Keeney.
Keeney here, she was a fantastic pitcher. She was in this tournament a year ago with Liberty and absolutely dominated. You could see her will to compete. I think that's the biggest thing about her that stands out to me. Grad transfers, gets to Oklahoma. Very first day of practice, coach said she broke her finger. So she's out all fall long, and the biggest thing, again, Coach Gasso said, the finger, all that aside, she was the best teammate. She was invested in what they were doing, and she was ready to compete as soon as she was able. So I think as she comes out today, will we see her best stuff? I don't know. But will we see her compete? Definitely.
Both of the pitchers now for Oklahoma were in this tournament last year with different teams, and both excelled. Okini's first game of the year with Liberty last year was against Oklahoma. She went 7 innings of shutout softball against the #1 team. Flames eventually lost in extras. Keeney's first pitch as a Sooner is a foul ball. And for Carly Keeney, her performances here in Puerto Vallarta do really call into stark contrast exactly what's possible here. Her first 2 appearances last year, she gave up 1 earned run and picked up an L in both. You don't have to worry about not getting run support when you pitch for the Oklahoma Sooners.
Batting here is 9-hole Zampa, but I mean, defensively had what was probably the best defensive play that I've seen all game. Full extension, parallel to the ground, along the foul line. Just amazing catch down the line. It was fantastic. I wish I could have gotten that on replay about 10 or 20 times because it was that good.
Yeah.
Looking here to maybe set the same kind of spark. And she will.
She does just that. Kelsey Zampa has battled her way into this starting lineup for Duke, and she has no intention of leaving it now that she's here. A leadoff base runner for the Blue Devils.
And that's exactly what they've been needing. We talked about they just need that one hit. They've been having hits, but none of them have fallen. This is the one. This is the one that got it going. This is the time for Duke to respond.
Yana Jennings began this game with a single. There she looks for one of the bunt variety.
Almost like clockwork, we've seen Duke, every time they get a runner on first, within the first 1 or 2 pitches, you see that sac bunt. They really want to get that runner in scoring position.
This really is the battle of triumphant return from injury. Deanna Jennings broke her arm after getting hit by a pitch against Stanford in the postseason. You already mentioned Carly Keeney working on the broken finger. Gritty and determined, these two right now.
And while I would never wish injury upon anybody, those who have gone through injury as a college athlete, there's so much that you learn when you're almost forced to be out of that playing. You're forced to be out of that perspective. And I think it makes you wiser to the game. It gives you a better understanding. So both of them, as they're coming into this year, there's a lot of knowledge that they're going to be carrying that they didn't have at the end of the season last year. And I think that's only going to help them thrive. It's only going to help them be a better teammate, but also make faster adjustments because they have that knowledge now. Great battle here, 0-2, a lot of foul balls. Jennings is just, she's stubborn in this box. She's not giving up.
Coach Young calling her one of a kind. We caught up last night. That certainly applies to the sensational sophomore Deanna Jennings. And right now, she is spoiling Keeney's debut.
I was just about to say, I am loving this at bat by Jennings. She is battling back and forth, back and forth. She's one of those slappers that she can just touch it if she doesn't want it. Just foul it off, foul it off. And as a pitcher, that's so frustrating. You just either want her to hit it or swing already.
Not that time. That's a great piece of work behind the plate, too.
Kinsey Hansen knows right now for Duke, every base counts.
Yep.
Not trying to give them an extra one.
2-2. Jennings goes to Jennings. That's where the out is.
But what a great battle there from Jennings. Yeah, she got that ball hit to Jennings at shortstop. I kind of got tripped up because it's the same last name, but the battle to be able to foul off that many balls in a row, to stay in, to fight, and eventually get that ball in play.
Diana to Tiare for the fielder's choice. That's strike one. Giselle Tapia. Diana staying put at first for now. She had 24 stolen base attempts in her freshman year, converted on 21 of them. But that said, we have already seen the pop time of Kinsey Hansen. There it is, and caught in the rundown, but she's able to get back. Fortunate that throw was in the dirt.
Yeah, that looks like a hit and run gone wrong right there. That was a great job by Zampa being able to get back to the bag. You could see she was going. You heard the dugout yell, runner, going. Oh.
Speaking of runners.
A little bit of wildlife. A little bit of chatter.
Everybody loves the sun. Look at the speed, the acceleration.
Kind of impressed. Keeney was just standing there.
He wanted the softball. He was ready to get inside the circle and start dealing. All the way down to the
last
third
year,
base dugout.
what was it? We saw a dog last year.
It was a dog, right? Yeah.
A giant lizard. I don't know. Is that an iguana? I'm not very caught up on the lizard species there, but we're seeing all the animal wildlife here.
No doubt. Look more lizardy than iguana-y to me, though it is always tough to tell.
It looks big.
The iguanas want the sun. It did look big. It did look big. Iguanas want the sun. Once it gets chilly, those iguanas will almost literally die. People see them fall out of trees, and then they wind up coming back to life when it gets warm. There's your Florida Man fact of the day, as the reptilian has been corralled.
Maybe I am half lizard. I kind of feel like I go die a little bit in the fall and come back to life in the spring.
Yeah, no doubt. This time of year is definitely a breath of fresh air for all of us. Everyone's got a little reptile in them, that's for sure.
Doesn't hurt that softball season starts back up as it's starting to get warm again.
That's certainly a big part of it.
Yeah.
All right, following the running of the lizard, a 1-2 count to Giselle Tapia. That one squirts away, and Tapia just swats it away.
All kinds of chaos happening here.
Opening weekend will lead to things mysterious and weird. That one fouled straight back.
Wouldn't be opening weekend without it. Talking about another battle here at the plate. Seen a lot of pitches, a brief intermission by a lizard running through the field, but to be able to have that break and then come back in immediately, lock back in, that's big.
Woo! Speaking of being locked in, Oklahoma turns 2. Keeney, Jennings, Sanders. Welcome to the Oklahoma Sooners, Carly Keeney. as remarkable as the defense has been in this game, we haven't seen much in the way of double plays until now. Carly Keeney gets the hard hit ground ball up the middle, fields her position brilliantly, and turns a quick 2 for the Oklahoma Sooners. 1-6-3, and now it will be a full pitching staff game for Duke as they turn to Jayla Wright, a 2.51 ERA a year ago, a record of 12-4 in her 133 2/3 innings pitched. She struck out 127 while walking just 63.
And I like that this staff has all been able to get in on this game, the experience, the confidence that they get after throwing to the #1 team in the nation. You don't get those opportunities very often, and so for them to be able to face these caliber hitters this early in the season only sets them up and prepares them for what's to come. We all know that ACC has been, over the years, an extremely competitive conference. You have some of the best programs in the country. Seems like out of nowhere. I mean, Duke, a fairly new program. Clemson, a fairly new program. Florida State has always been very, very solid, but you're starting to see the ACC become a lot more competitive and ranked really, really high. And I think having the ability to get these games in early only helps them later on this season.
It really is a tremendous message to any school that does not have a softball program, especially in the Southeast. If you get the right pieces in place, and it's easier said than done, but what Duke and Clemson have done in such a short time is unbelievably impressive. And now, especially with the Pac-12 going the way of the Dodo in about a year, the opportunity to be the third best league in America is wide open, and the ACC is certainly poised to fill that gap.
With these conference realignments, there's a lot of questions. There's a lot of how will this play out? What will this look like? But I feel like ACC, they've been on the build. They've been on the build, so they're welcoming all this chaos because they're used to it almost.
They're the
Great
one.
block there.
Nobody will remain truly unaffected. But as we talk about what will be probably the big three leagues next year, the SEC is going to be completely different, particularly in the sport of softball, as the Oklahoma Sooners and the Texas Longhorns join the SEC. That will unequivocally be the best league in our sport. The Big Ten will not be very far behind, with the addition of 3 more schools, including the California football. That one came in and got Jada Coleman.
Nothing is worse, and all the hitters out there know, nothing is worse than you taking the biggest hack and it going right off your bat into the ankle. Walk it off a little bit. Feel it out, shake it out.
Had that stinger in on the hands right at the start of the game.
I know.
She's all good.
Tell you one thing, Wright's not afraid to go in
to
Jada Coleman right here.
Wright was the first pitcher that Coach Young mentioned to us when we were talking about the pitching staff last night. Just the energy and intensity that Wright brings. Obviously, the numbers back it up as well, going over 130 innings last year, but she could be poised for even more now in her senior year. Maybe not in terms of innings, there's a good balance here, but in terms of efficiency.
Absolutely. I mean, as a pitching coach, whenever you have a pitcher on your staff who is just so efficient with her pitches, and it might not be efficient in terms of ball strike, but efficient of, I want to throw the ball here, I want to throw the ball there. That is so, so vital to getting in and getting out really quickly. I think of the first 2 pitches to Jada Coleman, tied on the hands, how the foul ball off the foot automatically goes farther away. Jada Coleman fouls it off. The ability to be efficient with her pitches.
That was in the dirt. Got her swinging. Look at the movement from Jayla Wright.
This one had Jada Coleman's ankles almost breaking on that pitch. Again, on that inside half, not afraid to go in on these lefties. I love that aggression. I love that confidence from her. That's a huge strikeout. Jada Coleman does not come up to bat and strike out very often.
No. The freshman Parker goes after the bender.
And she is just carrying that momentum right into this at bat. I love it.
The dive, not quite enough this time. A professional at bat from Ella Parker.
Finds that hole, sends it, looking for that down pitch. We talked about Oklahoma being able to not just hit the ball hard, but hit it hard enough that it gets past these defenders. That's 5 miles an hour slower, probably doesn't break through that infield.
Yep. Here's been the biggest thorn in the side of the Blue Devils today. Tiare Jennings over the top there. That thing fell off the table out of the hand of Wright.
Her swing wasn't even close. That was a dropping changeup. That was beautiful the way it just fell off that table. And the deception too. There's no slowdown in her body as she's coming at her.
Flare to right. Tiare Jennings, clinical.
And the thorn lives to see another day.
Yep. 6 times on base on the first day of the season.
I like the way Wright has been attacking these hitters. But she's going to need to sharpen up those corners just a little bit, because with Kinsey Hansen and only 1 out, runners on first and second, that's a dangerous situation here for Duke.
OU fans will be thinking that Kinsey is due. 0 for 3 in this game with 3 pop-ups. OU looking for some insurance here in bot 6. Another pop, and that one just stays in the yard. Throw down. Absolute perfection from Torres. Pop awareness. The Blue Devils turn 2. The magic number is 3 as we go to the 7th. This is it now for the Duke Blue Devils. Now or never. They need 3 runs. Silver lining for the visitors on the scoreboard. They will have the heart of their order to bear. It's Gold, Davidson, and Vega scheduled to go against Carly Keeney for the first time.
Just like that, you're wondering, where'd the time go? How are we already in the top of the 7th? Sometimes as
Puerto
a team,
Vallarta,
whenever you're playing and you're in it, it's
Yeah.
hard because the games get away from you a little bit. But
Yep.
I think for Duke, they're a team, you can't count them out until the last out is there. And 3 runs, I mean, that's not a huge lead for Oklahoma. That's very, very doable for Duke. Couple of swings, couple hard hits. So the ability to stay locked in this last inning, get these runs across, the time is now.
Yep. Here in PV, we call it the Kelly Maxwell effect. She went 12 up, 12 down. That shortens the time of the game considerably. We have seen it here. Right now, it's her team in line for the win as Keeney looks to close the door. Last year between these two, it was a really similar game, 4-0. It's kind of a scrappy game. Boone was the only returning RBI from that matchup for Oklahoma. It was an error play that eventually led to the run scored. That was the 4th and final.
But I mean, I think, again, at the end of the day, the ability to be in this game, compete, hold each other, battle back and forth. Because, yes, Kelly Maxwell was so efficient. But I got to give props to Walker. She came in and she shut Oklahoma down.
Yep.
And that's what you want to see. We were talking about pitching staffs. That's what you want to see from your pitching staff is you bring somebody in for relief, they've got it.
Yep. It's funny, as the word of the day remains synergy, you certainly have it with your former coach because she said the exact same thing. You know, this is baseball now. You've got starters, middle relievers, and closers, especially at this level. And these two teams, the level of pitching depth that they have, you're going to see that little increase in specialization, especially come postseason play. Gold chops it up. Brito on the backhand across the diamond.
Brito made that one look easy. That's a hard play. A short hopper to the backhand. She's able to stay down. I think that's one of her biggest strengths over there at third is the ability to take funky hops and be able to stay behind it, not trying to rush the throw too often.
That hot corner has been scorching in this one, and Brito's been up to every single task put in front of her. Meanwhile, Carly Keeney off that injury has faced the minimum in her own right, thanks to the double play that she started. 4 up, 4 down.
Good pitch there. Davidson, she's had a couple of hits herself that have been hard, but just gone nowhere. I think one of them was out in that left center area. That was a hard hit. So for her, it's just trying to stay in that same zone, trying to lock in.
Davidson has had a ton of momentum coming out of the fall. She's using it right now.
Great discipline there from Davidson.
5-pitch walk. First one that Keeney's issued. It'll be up to the preseason All-American, Amina Vega. Big hack. Vega drops it into the grass. The Blue Devils are not done yet. The tying run in Kelly Torres comes to the plate.
And that's all it is. It's passing the bat right there. I love to see it. And those were hits that weren't necessarily dropping earlier on in the game.
Yep. That's a great point. Duke felt due. They've gotten it right now. That will come in and plunk Torres. Wow, what a turn.
Just like that, Duke is back in it, and that's what we were talking about at the beginning of this inning. Duke is not a team that gives up and goes down without a fight. Yes, that pitch hitter, but there were 2 other runners on base already, so the pressure now is on Keeney, is on Oklahoma. Bases loaded, 1 out. That's what you love to see from Duke.
Frankie
On the
Freelich
flip
off
side,
a
if you're
breakout
Oklahoma, you've got a handmade double play somewhere written with your name on it.
Force at any base. Freelich watches strike 1. She doubled her games started year over year in the 2023 campaign. Now one of the unquestioned leaders, very quickly down 0-2 to Carly Keeney.
She's coming at her after that last at-bat to Torres. Keeney's not messing around, and that's where you see that competition.
High and tight. That is a great protection swing.
In this moment here with bases loaded, the most important thing, stay within yourself. Don't be trying to be the hero and get a huge hit. Just feel your swing, be who you are.
Lift it up and out
reel
of play.
that zone in a little bit.
Yep.
Seen Freelich swing at
Keeney.
2. First one, almost at her helmet. Fouled that one
Yeah.
off. The next one, a little bit higher. Would love to see her take a deep breath here. While the pitches, the ball's being exchanged, take a deep breath, reset. She's battling here with 0-2. I love that fight from her, but just zone down just a tad.
Yeah, right now, if you're Keeney, there is no reason to put one in the strike zone. See if you can get that swing and a miss. Freelich shortens up. Keeney comes home, appeal down, did not go.
And there's that discipline right there. You love to see that.
That one's good. Keeney's first OU strikeout comes in the 7th with the bases loaded.
Carly Keeney is clutch. Try saying that 5 times fast, but I'm pretty sure this isn't the last time we will be saying it. That was a battle, that was a fight, but for her to come in and be calm, cool, collected, this is going to be, I'm calling it now, a big arm for Oklahoma.
No question about that. What a job Coach Rocha, Coach Gasso did in the transfer portal, in the circle. That catches the zone. Keeney not even at 100% just yet. We're working her way back from that finger injury. Right now, she'll have the chance to slam the door regardless. It'll only get better as the season goes on. She's now one strike away.
And what a moment for her to be the one in the circle right now. After having to sit out all fall long and to be able to be in this position to get this last strike, to get this last out, to get the first win for Oklahoma. Huge, huge moment for her.
One of the bigger games the Sooners will have all year. And it comes in just their second. Duke has acquitted themselves more than well. They're not interested in that right now. They want to tie this game up behind Jada Baker. Chopped up. Jennings has it, makes the flip, and Carly Keeney and the Sooners hold on in the 7th inning. Oklahoma has won 55 straight games and will finish day one in Puerto Vallarta 2-0, picking up a top 10 win against a really good Duke team. Nicole, that game was everything we could have hoped for and more. And what turned out to be by a pretty narrow margin, the Sooners survive and keep the win streak alive.
Live to fight another day. This was a top 10 matchup for sure. Oklahoma wins 3-0, but it was a battle. I think you called it right. It might be the year of the pitchers. We saw a lot of the staff from both sides. I'm really, really excited to see what both these teams do as the season continues.
Perfectly fitting that final ball found Tiare Jennings. Nicole Beckelman is going to catch up with the OU superstar after a quick timeout right here on FloSoftball.
He said, oh, I think Tyler. Chaz, you might want to.
This was a pitcher's duel through and through. All the offense coming in that 3rd inning, and the player who got it all started with a straight shot to dead center field joins our Nicole Beckelman now. We'll catch up with Tiare in just a beat. It really was an incredible game, and it was all contained to that 3rd inning. Tiare gets the home run. Sanders walks and eventually comes around to score. Alyssa Brito gets the single. And then Torres RBI, and Cassidy Pickering picks up RBI number 6. Oklahoma had to fight for every bit of it, but once they got the lead, they never really looked back, Nicole.
Yeah, I think that the the fight from both teams and the willingness to, okay, this isn't working. How can I adjust? That was the ultimate game changer in that third inning for Oklahoma. They were able to get on with a hit. Okay, how do I adjust? How do I adjust? Even Jennings during her at bat with the home run, she was able to go, okay, I swung at the low one, I swung at the high one. Even
Yeah.
though I didn't get all of it, I'm still able to keep my hands back. I'm still able to fight and battle through.
It really was an impressive showing for Oklahoma. Will go down, no doubt, as one of their best wins of the year. And you look at the pitching lines, and they really do tell the story. Kelly Maxwell goes 5 innings pitched, conceding just 1 hit, striking out 2. And that's what's almost even more impressive about it, Nicole. Kelly Maxwell was the strikeout artist last year, number 2 in the entire country in K per 7. She didn't need it today. Her defense was that good. It was a lot of balls put in play, some put in play really well by the Blue Devils, and it didn't wind up mattering. It goes down as a sterling line for Maxwell and the Sooners.
Absolutely.
So as we look back at it, there are so many highlights over the course of this game that you look back and it could be a little bit of offense, a lot of defense, and some tremendous pitching performances. That's where the offense started. Tiare Jennings drove it into center on a ball that was low and away. She got the offense going for Oklahoma. And in that third inning, that is where it all came. That hit well. Lena Torres picked up the RBI single. Duke, not to be outdone, got a lot of base runners. There's that defense. And the rest of the way, this is a defensive showcase for both the Blue Devils and the Sooners. Look at that. Just incredibly fun to watch. And both teams
great
little
game.
into it. Go ahead, Nicole. Yeah.
Yeah, as one great game finishes up, we're getting ready to have another one go. But before then, I think Tiare Jennings is ready.
No doubt about it. We'll kick it off to Nicole and Tiare. Let's do it. One of the players of the game in a really fun top 10 matchup.
I have no idea what's going on. Oh. Okay. You guys are coming off your 3rd straight national championship, currently extending the NCAA winning streak record in softball. What's it like going into the season with so many expectations?
Yeah, honestly, we don't even think about those expectations. We just come out here and have fun. Brand new team, just getting to know the newcomers. But we really don't play with that expectation of really anything except just for the standard of our Oklahoma softball. And I think that's what makes us different from other teams.
Let's talk about your second at bat. 0-0 ball game. You come up, you hit your 74th home run in a Sooners uniform. What was your what was your mindset going up to that plate?
Yeah, she was a great pitcher, so just going in and battling. Got into a deep count, so just going to do anything I can just to get on base. Ended up working out in my favor, and it was good to get the Sooners on the board.
A lot of outstanding performances from some of the freshmen on your team. Can you talk about some of the new talent on your roster this season?
Just absolute clutch, power, all of it. I mean, they're just so versatile, and just have them on our squad is just so amazing. But they're even better people than softball players, so that's just an amazing thing about them. They fit in right.
Thanks, Tiare. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Corey, back to you.
Thank you, Nicole. Thank you, Tiare. A fun one for both teams. But it is Tiare Jennings and the Sooners who emerge victorious 2-0, winners of 55 straight games. That's going to do it for our morning session. Not too long of a wait, though. Iowa State will make their day and season debut here in Puerto Vallarta. They will take on Utah Valley in their second game of the day. For Nicole Mendez and our entire crew in Puerto Vallarta, I'm Corey Brooks. A good afternoon for now. Be sure to join us. Game 3 coming up. UVU and Iowa State next on FloSoftball.